Good evening. This is Evening News on Remote TV. I am Anibaba Bekeluluwa. First, national news. Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State has said that his administration would continue to invest in basic education as well as technical and vocational education. The governor gave this assurance yesterday in Benin City during a Thanksgiving service to mark the 80 years completion of office and 75 years birthday anniversary of the former national president of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, Reverend Felix Omobude. Obaseki said, "We are proud that a child in Primary 1 in Edo under the Edo Basic Education Sector Transformation Program after one term can now read. We will continue to invest in their transformation. We are extending the achievements recorded in EdoBEST to technical and vocational education, but the foundation is what is critical. Without a solid foundation in education, nothing good can rest. We want to thank you for what you are doing for education. We want to thank you for what you are doing for education in the church. I did not realize that for the past 20 years you have been picking out little resources to train children who are not your own, to give them education and a chance in life." On the state of security in the South, Governor Obaseki said, "We are working very hard to ensure security in our zone. You know that we have a zone with a peculiar terrain because of the farmers and herders crisis, but you know that we also have the issue of militancy and urban crime. We have a heightened security problem in the zone." Still on national news, in recognition of the strategic importance of the entertainment and creative sector in growing the Nigerian economy, the Buhari administration has in the past few years introduced several initiatives to harness the abundant potentials in the country, according to Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. Prof. Yemi Osinbajo stated this over the weekend in a message delivered at the opening of the Ogidi Studios, a Lagos-based world-class creative complex hosting recording, film production, animation, and writing studios owned by the Temple Company. According to the Vice President, last year the federal government handed over the control of the National Theatre to the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Bankers Committee. The Bankers Committee has committed to an investment of 25 billion naira as initial funding for the development of the Nigeria Creative Center of the National Theatre, Lagos. The sector will receive support from the Central Bank of Nigeria's Creative Industry Funds Initiative, an initiative that gives financial support to the technology and creative sector at single-digit interest rates. On international news, organizers and participants in women's rights marches across Pakistan are facing a sustained campaign of misinformation, blasphemy allegations, and threats, an escalation of the conservative response to the country's feminist movement in recent years. On March 8, for the fourth consecutive year, thousands of women across the South Asian country attended the Orat March Women's March event held in towns and cities to mark International Women's Day. It's a day for us to celebrate our femininity, to share our traumas and pain, to express ourselves as we deem fit, and to demand our right to equality, health, education, mobility, and freedom from violence, said B, an Orat March organizer from Karachi. B and all Orat March organizers interviewed asked to be identified only by the initials due to threats. "Despite everything, we will keep demanding our rights and coming out to march," B said. At least 28% of women aged between 15 and 49 have experienced physical violence. B said at least 28% of women aged between 15 and 49 have experienced physical violence, with 40% of the men polled agreeing that it was acceptable to beat your wife under certain circumstances, according to government data. On sports news, Croton's Nigeria international Simeon Semi Iwaku is the latest African footballer in the Italian Serie A subjected to racial abuse on social media. The 28-year-old, who plays for his country at the 2018 World Cup, shared screenshots of abusive messages sent to him on Instagram after scoring in Saturday's 3-2 home defeat by Bologna. It's sadly become a regular occurrence on social media, but these hateful words have no place anywhere in society, Nwankwo told BBC Sport Africa. This incident comes barely 2 weeks after his Algerian teammate Adam Ounaz, on loan from Napoli, received racist abuse on social media following Croton's 4-2 win over Torino. Nwankwo is the top scoring African in the Italian top flight with 13 goals in 28 matches for bottom club Croton. He said social media abuse being directed at players was on the rise, and the authorities and social media companies needed to do more to identify the perpetrators. You can see it's coming from ignorant people. We cannot let racist and hateful abuse become a normalized part of the game, he added. I can't believe how many of these unspeakable messages from different users send racist abuse at footballers. We can only hope that more efforts will be put in to ensure the general public and not just footballers feel safe on social media platforms. Lastly, on entertainment news. Dear Mick, I read your piece about future Trump movie and feel you neglected the horror and monster movie genres. I could easily see Trump playing a role similar to Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. He could fit in as a leader of a zombie horde, and he could easily fill the role of a Bond villain. The possibilities are endless. Bill Wagman Davis. Dear Bill, no. The responses are finite. Taking those one by one. Sure, Trump has the body type to play Leatherface, but can he hold the chainsaw over his head and do that hip gyration that Leatherface does? Don't think so. Zombie horde leader. Zombies grow a little, but they don't see anything. That role requires restraint. As for Bond villains, permit me to remind you that those guys usually have a squeeze-head taste, and they're invariably polite. Think about it. They don't like James Bond, but they always call him Mr. Bond. They don't call him Jim or Jimbo. They don't make up nicknames. Yes, they're bad guys, but they have some class. I would love to watch all of Cary Grant's movies, starting from his first, Paramount. This is The Night from 1932, but they are not available or I can't find them. Is there any way to watch them? How do the biographers watch them? Usually, there's a way to see anything. You just have to work at it. If it's not on video anywhere, there are always archives. I pay $50 to see a movie at the UCLA archive when I was writing my first book 20 years ago. Also, if you put the word out, somebody knows somebody who videotaped something you need to see. That is all we have for evening news on Remo TV. You can follow us on every of our social media handles on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Officialremotv. You can also check us out on our website at www.remotv.com.ng. Good night.